So in a few more days, I'll be celebrating the 1 month anniversary of coming here to Phoenix. Now, I thought when I left Seattle and moved to Phoenix just a month ago, I thought I had finally found refuge in Phoenix from solosexual harassment, but unfortunately, I was only partially right, and I may have to rethink my strategy on dealing with this. And I thought I would relate my story and then talk about a number of workplace Bill of Rights, if you will, that I hope we can accomplish through negotiating together. So this October 24th is what I like to call Solosexual Pride Day, because one of the few solosexuals who have gotten very far in her career, that's her birthday. She turns 43 years old. Evelina Falenta was the second place winner of Polish Idol Season 1, and few people make it to 43 and are still single and get a thriving career in the music industry. We love to taunt musicians for some reason. When I'm a Facebook friend of hers, and I see people taunt her sometimes indirectly, right? And I always fend off people for her. And she always likes my comments. Doesn't always respond to everyone, but she likes all the comments when I fend off some of these people. Anyway, what had happened was that I'm the only employee there who is solosexual, or even single for that matter. We don't have any open solosexuals at the office. I'm sure there are a few. Keep in mind that even married people could be solosexual. A lot of times a solosexual will make a long-term solosexual friend, and sometimes that results in marriage, right? That doesn't mean they're heterosexual or homosexual. That just means that they found each other, right? And I'm sure there are a few of those people at my job, not to mention people who are single and solosexual. Keep in mind, not everybody who is solosexual recognizes that they are solosexual. And that's kind of sad, because the people who don't recognize that they are solosexual, you often find jumping from one relationship to another. The best example I can think of in our pop culture is Taylor Swift. I bet she doesn't even understand her own sexual identity, and instead she turns it into a career singing one breakup song after another, right? At least she has a way to monetize it, and most of us don't, right? But anyways, what had happened was, because I'm the only one who is solosexual, I end up, I'm working at a tutoring center, and I end up working this past week, which is a slow week because the kids are on fall break. Now, at first, I took it in stride, right? I'll work this week in exchange in the future. Somebody else can fill in for me. But then I realized it's a very slow week. And so I only got less than half as many hours as I could have. And, you know, it's kind of disappointing, because with so few hours, I would have love to do anything else, right? Whether it just be stay home and write computer games, whether it be go somewhere. I haven't traveled out of the country in 2.5 years, obviously, just like a lot of other people. But okay, I fill in, and you know, I could have negotiated something at my work. I still wasn't too upset until I opened my Facebook one day to see my coworker in Cancun having a great time. Now, a lot of people can accept Cancun as a vacation a lot better than they can accept me going to a Computer Olympiad conference, a lunar eclipse, making bismuth crystals, doing other forms of art, and all the rest, right? And so a lot of times, now next month we do have a lunar eclipse, and I was trying to drop some hints to my boss that I wanted the day after that off. One day I was showing him how humans in the past calculated the distance to the moon. It was based on the lunar eclipse. And I said, well, there's one next month, and I really love viewing those. And he didn't understand that I want the day off. I went up to him again today to talk about, oh my God, I can't wait, only 3 more weeks until the eclipse. He still didn't understand I wanted the next day. I can't really ask, because I'm kind of on a probationary period. I just started the job, and it's not quite right for me to ask about having the day off. And so I was trying to drop hints at him to see if he'll conveniently just change the schedule, slip it to me, right? Well, we got a corporate structure, so I can't really ask. Now, this gets me to one of the rights that I want on our Worker Bill of Rights. I want there to be an open door policy. I want people to be able to freely ask for vacation time, for various suggestions at work, without fear of being reprimanded, right? Think of it as a First Amendment at the workplace, right? I really do. The worst that should happen is the boss says no, and that should be it, right? Nobody should fear retaliation for asking for vacation, complaints, complaining about a coworker, or suggestions to make the workplace better, right? I want people to have a right to healthy lighting in the workplace, and also for a fragrance-free workplace. Nobody should be exposed to chemicals or unhealthy lighting unless the job really calls for it, right? Now, if you take a job as a wine taster or somebody who sniffs perfume, to judge it, or somebody who tastes ice cream, okay, you took the job with the idea that this job entails coming into contact with chemicals, or take a job as a uranium miner, right? Or you take the job understanding that, right? But most people who take a job at the office coming into contact with fragrance chemicals or unhealthy lighting or a number of other chemicals, right? Or physical issues like bad posture, that shouldn't be part of a job that should only entail tutoring or working with, I worked at a startup company, working with software, right? None of those things require one to be exposed to chemicals in order to do, and to the extent we can, we should minimize it, right? Obviously, we're all exposed to chemicals all over the place, but unnecessary exposure, we should definitely get rid of, right? And nobody should be laughed at for bringing a UV lamp into the office, right? I want the workplace to be free of harassment for eating disorders or differences, right? So, for example, if you have a coworker who says no to your birthday cake on your birthday, you should accept that and move on to other subjects, right? There's a lot to discuss about at the workplace, right? I want the right pronouns to be used. We all know not to use gender-specific pronouns, but for some reason, we still think it's okay to use family-oriented pronouns, right? The fact that one's a family man, or family person, I should say, right? Sorry about that. Right, somebody's partner. Not everybody is partnered up, right? We're all humans, right? Stop using any sort of categories of humans, right? I want there to be a right to keep a life outside of work, right? So, for example, one thing I'm really upset about is tomorrow I have to go to a staff meeting and miss a board game meetup that I like to go to. I mean, on the email it did say if you have a conflict, please let me know. But it was kind of implied that it was only for family-oriented conflicts, right? You had a kid who needs to go to a dance class. You have a spouse who's in the hospital. Those kind of conflicts, right? I don't think a board game meetup really qualified based on how the tone of that email. I really didn't want to rock the boat. Again, this gets me back to an open door policy, right? I should have been able to suggest, is there some other way? Maybe I can attend it remotely. Maybe I could send my concerns remotely and then get a response with the minutes of the meetings. I should have been able to suggest that without fear of being reprimanded, right? A First Amendment right at the workplace, right? We really need that. Anyways, thought I would throw these suggestions out there. And this October 24th, I hope you will join me in championing Workplace Bill of Rights.